Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I got a brand new piece of glass we're going to install in the old Willys Jeep. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that commented on my last video and said to check locally for a piece of glass. So I made some calls around town, and $100 and 24 hours later, I got a fresh, brand new piece of glass to go in the old Willys Jeep. Now, if you ain't seen my last video, repairing the frame and everything, you probably don't know I broke the old piece of glass that was in there, which isn't too big of a deal. It was old, it was delaminated. It wasn't a nice piece of glass. This is a fresh, clean, clear piece of glass. Also, since that last video, I've done some research. I've checked out some different ways to do this, so we're gonna try a few things a little different today. I've got some tools, I've got some rope, so let's get into this. All right, so the last time I tried doing the seal to the frame and then working the glass in. This time I wanna start out putting the seal on the glass and trying to work that into the frame. So I got a fresh bottle of Windex. We're gonna soak everything down real good and get this seal on. I ain't gonna say that starting with the seal on the glass is impossible, but I sure can't do it. The groove in the seal is so wide and so shallow, it won't stay on the glass long enough to even do the ends. And this isn't a molded seal, so when you come around the corners, it just wants to peel itself off. You'd almost have to like glue it on, and I don't think that's a good idea. The original idea was once this seal goes on here, you can put a rope up in there and pull it onto the frame with the rope. Somebody suggested that in the comments. It just don't look like it works that way with this style of seal and this glass. All right, so attempt number 2, I've already worked the seal in around the frame. It's really easy to do, it just slides right on. I'm gonna throw some more Windex on this, and then we're gonna start working that glass in, and I'm gonna show y'all how that works. All right, so the way we're gonna go after this, we're gonna start this end in. This was my treble end last time. We'll get that kind of seated in there, and we'll kind of work these edges this way until we get to the end. The end's probably gonna be the hardest part because you gotta work in these corners. As I'm working it down though, I'll make sure to stop and show y'all what I'm doing and how I'm working it into the seal. I bought a pack of tools off Amazon, just different little plastic tools to help work these seals in. It's made just for windshields. I'll have this link down below. But you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just getting up under that lip and just slowly working that windshield in. You can see I've got this end started in here now. It's not 100%, and you can see like right here where it stops at. So I'm gonna have to pull that on over. I've got this side already in, and now I can work this in. Once you get around this end and you get these edges, it's probably gonna go pretty quick. Watch for this right here though. See how the seal is pulling away from the frame right now? So I need to get up under there and tuck that back in, because if that seal comes off enough, you're gonna lose the battle and have to start all over. So something that works kind of good too, like I've got this seal kind of pinched in there right now, you can reach up under there and kind of roll that seal up, and it'll help that glass fall into it. I've got this worked all the way down here to the end. We've got both edges in. We got this end in, and this was the tricky end last time. So this is where it's going to get difficult. This is where everything's going to get real tight. And putting this glass in versus the old glass, I feel like this glass is a hair bigger. They probably cut just a little bit bigger, a little oversized. I got it this far mainly with this little plastic piece. This is probably my favorite tool that come in that pack. That pack also come with this. And you got to be real careful. This is not plastic. This is metal, and metal and glass do not mix. But I will say, once you get up under that edge, you can just pull this tool right here and it'll just roll that edge right up on there for you. Like I said, all the pressure is going to be here now, so we got to be real careful working these ends in. But we've about got this thing licked. All right, y'all, that went way better than the last time. Obviously, I didn't break anything this time, at least not yet. This video ain't over yet. But I've got all the glass in now. I've got the lip all the way up around this. Now, I didn't mention this before, but you're gonna want your locking side to the inside of the Jeep. That way you have a nice clean seal on the outside. I've got all this in here now though. I did go around and just kind of press everything in because it'll roll in, it'll kind of settle. And of course, everything's still wet and slick with all that Windex. But now that we got this thing in and we didn't break it, I think that was the hardest part. All that's left to do is we've got that piece of rubber that's gonna lock all this in place and hold this glass in. So I'm gonna go grab that and we'll see if we can get that piece put in. So on the end of that seal, you can see you've got a specific shape. And this cord right here is gonna match right in there. And that's what's gonna lock everything in place and keep that windshield from being able to come out. You'll remember in the last video, this was super hard and crusty and cracked and exploded everywhere. It should be a nice cord like this, nice and pliable. Now, since I put the middle of the seal right here and the ends meet here, I think with this cord, if I can, I'm gonna try and have the ends meet up here. That way you don't have two open ends. This will be solid here, that'll be solid there. So this is a tool I got off Amazon. It's specifically made to put this little locking strip in. It comes with a couple different tips. I think this is the one we need, I don't know. I'm gonna try a different one, see which one works the best. It's pretty cheap, I think it's like 12 bucks, and it's supposed to make this job a lot easier. Okay, so the way this works is you stick your seal up through that, and then you're gonna push it, and that's gonna spread that seal out and let it go in as you follow it. So it's taken me from the middle all the way around to here to finally kind of get a technique down. So I'm gonna set this up and see if I can show y'all what I'm doing to make this thing just go right in. Okay, so I'm using the smallest tip that this come with. And as flat as I can get this handle, I'm sticking my thumb right up underneath, right as it trails, pushing down and forward. And you can see it seated that real nice right there. Now it's starting to come out just a little bit right here. You can work that back in with your little windshield tool, or sometimes you're gonna have to pull it back out and just kind of readjust and start over. Something you can't overuse is this Windex. Use it whenever you want to. Whenever you feel a tight spot or something getting a little stuck, just go ahead and put some Windex on it. This is all starting to come together though, and it's looking good. So I've got this here at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and take my tool off. This is gonna be just like the other seal. You're gonna have a bunch of extra and you're gonna cut it to length. So I'm gonna work this in right to the end where we meet up here. I'm gonna cut it just a hair long because you want a bunch of tension on this. You wanna make sure that this don't spread out over time. Okay. So I'm right there at the end. I'm gonna cut just past it. And tuck that in. There we go. Well, I'll tell y'all what, I'm sure glad that's over. It's a big relief that I've got this thing in here now. I didn't break another piece of glass. I think the biggest difference between this time and last time is I have the correct tools now. I'd really encourage you to at least get a set of those plastic ones. Putting the locking strip in too, I think that tool is worth the money also. You're gonna end up spending maybe 25 bucks on tools, but it makes the job so much easier, and I barely even had to push on the glass. The last time I was pushing so hard on the glass, I think that's why it eventually cracked. This time, I let the glass fall into the seal and everything went smooth. All right, so now that we got the hard part wrapped up, I'm gonna put this cowl seal back on. We'll get this thing bolted back up for the last time. Well, y'all, I think that about wraps it up for this one. The windshield turned out perfect. The seals turned out great. I'm really happy to have this done because I was kind of dreading it a little bit. I was scared to death I was going to break another piece of glass, but it all went together really good. Some tips that I just want to share with y'all real quick since I've done this job now. Get the right tools. I'm going to have everything I used in this video linked down in the description, so you can go find it down there. The plastic tools really came in handy. I used those a lot. Of course, that little round ball end piece, that was what sent that thing home. That's what really seated the glass in there. And then of course that lock-in strip tool, I really think that's invaluable. It's worth the 12 bucks to just go ahead and get it. I used Windex in this video. You don't have to use Windex. You can use like spray on glass cleaner or something like that. You don't want to use anything with oil or wax in it, because whatever you use to put the seal on, you want it to evaporate, dissipate, and leave no residue. That's why I like Windex, because you know it's cleaning while it's lubricating, and then once it's all said and done, it just evaporates and it's gone. Again, thank you to all those that commented on my last video that recommended where to find a new piece of glass and different ways to install it. I appreciate y'all checking out this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see y'all next time.